Alright, I'm gonna go get some spark plugs for the 8th gen Civic, and looks like some gas too. I gotta do an oil change on that. I also want to change spark plugs, obviously. It's been quite a while. That's the supercharged 4-door Civic. I'm in the 2-door 9th gen right now. I'm gonna head to the Advanced Auto. I had to order some NGK iridiums in. They didn't stock them. I'm gonna go pick them up, and if it quits raining, I'll probably put them in right now. If not, I'll do it a little bit later. Got him. Alright, got to do the musical car tech. The goal is to get this car right here so I can jack it up and work on it. I haven't started these cars, some of these cars like this Tracker, a whole bunch lately, so if they don't start, don't make too much fun of me. But I'm going to get them moved around and let's see what happens. Pretty surprising. I can't believe they all started. The brakes were a little hung up on the Tracker from not moving in probably a month or two. But just moved it back and forth a little bit and it freed right up, and I'm going to show you what it takes to change the spark plugs on this goofy thing. So it's quite a project actually. So obviously there is not a ton of room between here. You're not going to get a tool in there. If you, I mean, you might be able to, but it's not going to be easy. So basically what you've got to do is you've got to remove this entire cowl piece here, and then there's like a metal tray piece under here that would come off next. And then finally you can take this cover and remove the coil packs and get everything done. To remove this this cowl cover, you've always got to take this wipers off on both sides, and then these corner pieces will come out afterwards, and then you can get the bolts. There's 2 bolts here, 3 10 mils going there, 2 more bolts there. These are 12 mils here, and the wipers are 17s if you're doing this on your Civic. This is the supercharged one. That's the Supercharger right there. It makes somewhere between 350 and 400 horsepower. It makes 11.7 psi boost at the rev limiter. I am over revving it based off what Kraftwerks rate it's set at. It's been like this for 16,000 miles at this point, and I am not nice to it ever. Lots of tagging the rev limiter, burnouts. It just takes it like a champ. So a lot of people smack talk Kraftwerks, and you got to wonder if some of that might be installer error, user error type situations, because so far it's been pretty dang reliable for me, and I've taken this on, you know, 4 or 5 hour road trips, no problem, without hesitation. It's not great on gas, that's the only drawback. On like the freeway I get like 25. Around town I'm lucky to get 20 the way I drive. So I'm gonna get to work. I'm gonna do like a time lapse here and show you what it takes to get this stuff apart. Alright, so I got the plugs out. The tip is gray, which is good, but it's definitely super black around the base of the porcelain inside there. I have a suspicion that my exhaust manifold might be loose. With the solid motor mounts, things kind of just come loose, especially when you're banging rev limiter constantly. I'm going to check those bolts, but as you've seen, I usually use a coil pack to pull these things out. I take the little rubber thing out of my spark plug socket because I've had that get stuck down in those tubes, and that's a freaking nightmare. So the last one kind of gave me a fit, and I probably spent 5 minutes just screwing around with that one, but the first 3 came out no problem. And that's typically how it works. I usually don't have to struggle too bad. Sorry for the bouncy camera. I bumped the trash can that I'm using for a tripod stand here. So I guess I'm going to tighten up those exhaust bolts, throw the new plugs in, jack it up so I can get ready to drain the oil. Yeah, I'll get back with you. Just like that, I'm all done. I got the whole car put back together. One thing I did notice is how gray this cowl is getting, and it's done this before. One trick you can do is you can take a heat gun to it, which I'll probably do in another video. I've got enough going on right now, I'm not going to take the time to do it. But you can take a heat gun to it, just don't get it crazy hot, and it'll actually turn black and last for a while. They make dyes and stuff you can buy too. I've heard mixed things about those. I've tried like back to black, which is good, but it seems to dissipate or evaporate or whatever it does quickly, you know, so it doesn't last a real long time. So yeah, I'm gonna jack the car up, start changing the oil. That shouldn't take very long. It's cooled down a little bit now since I ran it for a few minutes. I'm going to get that stuff done, and I'll update you along the way. Alright, got the car all jacked up, drained the oil, took off the old filter. I run AMSOIL in it. I believe it calls for like 520 or something along the lines of that. I usually just run 1030 in it. Obviously it's not hurt it at all yet. I use AMSOIL. I do the XL solely because it says boosted on it. I'm just kidding about that part, but it is good oil. I have an account with them, so I get a little bit of a break. It's not substantial. Honestly, sometimes I almost just want to go buy it from the store because it really isn't huge savings. And then I use a Wix filter. I'm going to go pour a partial quart in. I like to do this with the drain plug still out because you don't usually get all the residual oil out of the pan. Yes, I'm using a funnel. I'm not that confident. I don't want to spill oil everywhere. So I'll pour like a third or a half a quart through and then let that drain into the pan below. That'll push out any of that bad oil and make sure we got mainly good oil. I'm going to wait a few seconds, put the drain plug back in, put the filter back in, and we'll start her up. After we put oil in, of course. When people complain about gas being over $3, it's hilarious. It's a Honda Civic, guys. It's going to cost me $45–50 to fill up a Honda Civic. And you're complaining about like $3.30 a gallon or whatever the hell it is. Drove out to Mexico. I'll do a little second gear rip in the Supercharged Civic. So I'm rolling 25 miles an hour, traction control's off. I'm just going to mat it and it's going to light the tires up, no problem.
Yeah.
Smell it?
Yeah. You ready?
Second gear like this the whole.
Ready?